Bonjour class. Okay, so in today's lesson, we're going to jump to that right in a minute. I just wanted to give you a quick message on a Friday to say how proud I am of you, of how well you're trying to complete the classes and listen to the videos and do the lessons. I know it's hard learning virtually, it's hard learning when you're at home, but you guys are doing a good job, and a lot of you are doing the right thing. If you're encountering difficulties, just calling me, or better, really just emailing me or sending me a message. I can't always answer the phone. And I just want to signpost you to the PowerSchool pages where I have put a series of how-to videos. Two of them right now are going to be the most important. One is if you still haven't figured out how to put accents on, go ahead, look at the how-to video for how to do accents. And then the other one is how to do a Google form. So if you're still not sure quite what's right, or if you look at your grade and there's like a note where it's like you didn't quite do the right thing, so you didn't get the best grade you possibly could have, then you need to go back and look at the Google form, like how to Google form, do it in your own time, do it in the evening, since I don't ever really set homework, and look at and just watch it and figure out how you do each of those sections. Like, what am I looking for in the shared writing or the shared reading? What is expected, because it might be that you still haven't quite got it right, or you put something in the wrong place. So that's not everybody, but there are a significant minority that I feel that I need to put that in a video. Okay, so if you're still having questions on it, then let me know. Yeah, okay, so let's get into the lesson for today. Okay, so class, aujourd'hui c'est lesson 10. And here's another joke from my French 3 student, because this video is actually I've not graded it at beginner level because I had technical difficulties. I've had to record a whole separate video just for you guys, higher level. So I'm not going to explain this joke to you guys because hopefully you should get it. Even my husband got it. And he barely speaks or knows any French. So thank you to my student who brought in this joke. Two cats are having a swimming race. One is called 1, 2, 3. The other 1, 2, 3. Which cat won? 1, 2, 3 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's get stuck into the lesson for today. Today's lesson is all about, it's the same as last Friday, all about describing your weekend. What was the weather going to be like? How you feel? What activities? Mostly we're going to focus on activities that you're going to do this weekend. You're going to hear a lot from me, but then at the higher levels, I want to read about you. I can't necessarily hear from you right now, so I'm going to read about you because you're going to be writing sentences, and depending on how good you are at French, like how much French you've taken, it depends on how much detail you give. Don't skimp, don't write one little thing and send it, because you know there's a lot of students that write paragraphs and then you look bad when you've just written one little thing. Especially the French ones are writing a lot, not their own sentences, but when they're copying the text, some of them are writing the whole entire text, and then I get French 3s who are writing like one little phrase. So don't look bad. Don't, like, I know you can't see the comparison, and I do, and I try not to compare, but when they're in just having learned French for 3 weeks and they're writing tons, and my French 3s have been learning it for at least 2 years, and you're not, it doesn't look good. So if it says indeed, and not that French 3s are all at advanced level, actually French 3s are more at the still at the intermediate level. But challenge yourself. Do the best you can today. Okay, so let's go. I want to explain real quick again what the reading workshop looks like, in case you missed it, because this is new. It started yesterday, so there's no longer this banner. It no longer says trouve le cognat. Now it says renseignez-vous. So you are writing the information that you learned in English. So you have to read the whole text, not just look for random words or cognates, just individual words. You are reading the whole text and then summarizing as best you can what you understand in English. So you're still only going to set your timer for 5 minutes. Don't take any longer than that for this beginning workshop. Choose a level. You do not have to read beginner and intermediate and advanced. Just choose one, read the text fully. It might take you at least a minute or two to read the text. Then you're writing in this box what you understand in English. So I think the text is saying blah, 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 blah. This text talks about blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm gonna go through one of the texts with you a little bit today, just to give you, just give you a couple of pointers, and then you're gonna pause the video on the text that you want and complete that reading workshop. Okay, so this for today is the beginner level text. Now I know you can't see the top right hand corner because my face is there, but this is also on your Google form, so you can read it from there. So you can see the beginner level is pretty long for today, so you might want to stick with that one. Or this is the intermediate, and this is the advanced. Okay, I'm going to skip back to the beginner. And I just want to give you a little clue. So up here, you see where my arrow is, where it says sur. Sur means on or about. So in this context, it is about, and then whatever this title is. So that when you read this title, it tells you what it's about. So this title says, Ce qu'on mange pour le petit déjeuner. Ce qu'on mange pour le petit déjeuner. So all the texts are about the same thing. It's just that they get increasingly detailed in they're like the same subject. So, ce qu'on mange pour le petit déjeuner. My French students, you should be able to tell me what petit déjeuner is. Oui. And French twos, you may or may not, probably not know that it means breakfast. So there's your clue. Ce qu'on mange pour le petit déjeuner. So what do we eat for breakfast? So that's what the text is about. So giving you a freebie for today, and then I want you to tell me one more thing in that RW1 box, that you, at least one more thing, like as much as you can in 5 minutes about what that's about. There are also still some multiple choice questions on your Google form. Feel free to do that. But again, you only need to focus on one text for today. So choose your text wisely, go ahead, do that, and then come back to the rest of the video. Okay, so on you go. This is the heart of the lesson, the class discussion. This is where we speak entirely in French. Do not skip the video. I encourage you to have the video up to one side of your screen and have les mots-clés section. Oops, pardon. Have the mots-clés section of your video, this part of your video, of your Google form up on the other side. And mots-clés means, mot means words, clé means key. So you are putting key words there. In what language? In English. The class discussion is in what language? French. So you are listening in French, you're watching in French, and then you're writing the keywords that you hear in English. Keywords are not key themes. So don't be writing, oh, she's talking about her weekend. That is not a keyword. What specifically do I say about the weekend? What words do you hear that are either repeated or important to understanding that? Okay, and then at the end, there's going to be a little review afterwards, and you can only do that once you've watched the whole entirety of the discussion. If you skip some of those, then you can't do the review so well. Okay, so on you go. Alors, classe, comment tu te sens aujourd'hui? Moi, je me sens très contente. Je me sens très contente parce que classe, aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi. C'est presque le week-end. Alors, comment tu te sens? Dis-moi, comment tu te sens? Oh, ok, très bien. Vous êtes content aussi? Vous êtes bien? J'espère que tu n'es pas enrhumé à la maison. Alors, on continue avec la météo. Alors, quel temps fait-il aujourd'hui? Il fait soleil. OK, classe, répète après moi. Aujourd'hui, il fait soleil. Super. Aujourd'hui, il fait soleil. Et je pense qu'il fait, ce matin, il fait frais. Ce matin, il fait frais. Je pense qu'il fait 50 plus degrés. Alors, il fait frais ce matin. Ce matin. Ce matin, il fait frais. Mais j'aime bien. Je pense qu'il fait beau. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez? Il fait beau? OK, on y go. Alors, nous allons parler du calendrier. C'est quel jour, classe? J'ai déjà dit. C'est quel jour aujourd'hui? Lundi? Non. Mardi? Non. Mercredi? Non. Jeudi? Non. Aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi. Alors, nous allons écrire vendredi. Écris avec moi, classe. V, E, N, N, D, E, E, D, I. Vendredi, super. Et c'est quelle date aujourd'hui? Mardi, c'était le premier. C'était passé le premier. Mercredi, le 2. Jeudi, le 3. Vendredi, le 4. C'est comme la blague. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super. Alors, aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi le 4 septembre 2020. Et classe, moi, j'aime ou j'adore, non, j'aime vendredi. J'aime vendredi. Je suis très contente aujourd'hui. Il y a du soleil, ou il fait du soleil, et il fait frais aussi. Alors, il fait beau. Nous aimons bien. Moi, j'aime le vendredi parce que... Pourquoi? Parce que c'est le dernier jour de la semaine. Regarde, premier jour de la semaine, dernier jour de la semaine. Et demain, what does demain mean? Oui, demain, c'est le week-end. C'est le week-end. Alors, j'adore le week-end. Et vous? Vous adorez le week-end? Mais classe, ce n'est pas un week-end normal. Pourquoi ce n'est pas un week-end normal? Oui, parce que c'est un long week-end ce week-end. Ce ne finit pas dimanche. Alors ce week-end, c'est samedi. Oh là là, samedi, dimanche. Ça c'est un A. Dimanche et lundi, c'est le week-end. Le week-end continue. Il y a 3 jours. 1, 2, 3 jours du week-end. Pourquoi? Pourquoi lundi? Parce que oui, classe, c'est Labor Day. Ça, c'est en anglais, Labor Day. C'est américain, Labor Day. Alors, en français, ça n'existe pas, Labor Day. En France, pardon, pas en français. En France, ça n'existe pas, Labor Day. Ou pas en septembre. Alors, Labor Day, on ne va pas à Northside, oui? Il n'y a pas de Northside, il n'y a pas de lycée, pas d'école le lundi. Il n'y a pas de travail lundi. Alors, en français, on s'appelle ça un jour, lundi, mardi, mercredi, un jour férié. Férié. Répétez après moi, classe. Un jour férié. Alors aujourd'hui, pardon, pas aujourd'hui, lundi, c'est un jour férié en Indiana, aux États-Unis. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire pendant le week-end? Moi, je vais célébrer l'anniversaire de Joshua. Parce que classe, l'anniversaire de Joshua, c'est le 9. C'est l'anniversaire de Joshua, mon bébé, mon fils, Joshua. Le 9. Alors, tout le week-end, je vais célébrer. Samedi, je vais célébrer. Alors, je vais effacer un peu. Je vais célébrer avec ma famille sur Zoom. Je vais célébrer l'anniversaire de Joshua sur Zoom parce que ma famille n'habite pas en Indiana. Ma famille habite en Angleterre ou en France. Alors, nous passons du temps ensemble sur Zoom. Mais dimanche, le 6, je vais célébrer l'anniversaire de Joshua avec la famille de John en Indiana. Alors, nous allons célébrer l'anniversaire avec la famille et nous allons manger du gâteau. Deux bougies parce que Joshua, il a 2 ans. Alors, il aura 2 ans. Alors, nous allons manger du gâteau et moi, je vais faire le gâteau au chocolat. J'adore. Et Joshua adore le gâteau. Et il adore le chocolat. Alors, oui, ça c'est dimanche. Et classe lundi, parce qu'il y a 3 jours, lundi, pour le jour férié, nous allons aller au zoo. Nous allons aller au zoo avec les amis de Joshua. Joshua a les petits amis, il a les amis de 12 ans aussi. Et c'est tout, c'est mon week-end. Alors, classe, dis-moi, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire ce week-end? Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire ce week-end? Est-ce que tu vas célébrer un anniversaire? Est-ce que tu vas manger le gâteau? Est-ce que tu vas aller au zoo? Est-ce que tu vas faire Zoom? Alors, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? Okay. Merci beaucoup, class. So we're going to move on to the next part. So you should have been doing your mots-clés as you were listening, but if you didn't, then just pause the video, continue just typing up some of those other keywords. And then you're going to come to the next part of the form, which is review. And then you're going to see 3 of these vrai ou faux. So I'm going to quickly quiz you vrai ou faux based on the video and what you were learning. Okay, so listen up with me. We're going to go numéro 1. Vrai ou faux? Samedi, je vais passer du temps avec la famille sur Zoom. Alors, je vais passer du temps avec la famille sur Zoom. Vrai ou faux? Oui, c'est vrai. Alors, numéro 1, c'est vrai. Numéro 2. Ce week-end, Je vais célébrer l'anniversaire de John. Ce week-end, nous allons célébrer l'anniversaire de John. John a 2 ans. C'est l'anniversaire de John. Vrai ou faux? Oui, classe, bien sûr, c'est faux. Ce n'est pas l'anniversaire de John, c'est l'anniversaire de Joshua. Très bien, de Joshua. Numéro 3, la dernière question. Okay, plus difficile. Lundi, nous allons aller au zoo avec la famille. Lundi, nous allons aller au zoo avec la famille. Vrai ou faux? Oui, classe, c'est faux. Ce n'est pas avec la famille, c'est avec les amis. Oui, c'est avec les amis, pas la famille. Super. OK, on continue. Et the prochain, so this next part is shared writing. Shared writing is where we share it. We write it together. Now I know you're at home, so I still want you to participate by every time I pause and ask you a question, respond back, Mr. Rogers style. So you are helping me out even from home. And then as I'm doing this, you can have that on one side of your screen. And then you are doing the réviser et rédiger, which is in French. And you are literally copying at this point the writing that you're seeing. And your copying should be accurate. So as the words come up, you are copying those down. You're following along. You can wait till the whole writing's done, then pause and then do it. Depends on your timing of the lesson. And you should be trying to get in those accents. So if you haven't already, you need to try and get your computer to do those, and go to the how-to video on my PowerSchool page to figure that out. And like I said at the start of the video, some of my students are writing a lot. So I know you can't see other people, but if they're writing a lot and you're not, I'm questioning why you're not. So after I'm done writing, I would set your timer for another minute to just finish off and write as much as you can, or write a little bit on there and then write a lot on paper, and that way not just any paper, maybe notebook, and that way keep track of all the writings that we do, because there's a lot of repetition, but there were also some new words. There were some nice phrases you might want to come back to, and it's going to massively improve when you do your dictée, when you do your free writes, when you do your assessment, like summative assessment writes, because you can use those things to help you, but you cannot use Google Translate. Okay, and then since you're a higher level, after that, depending on your level, but I would say definitely if you're French 3 and possibly if you're French 2, I want you to poser des questions à moi sur mon week-end. So, qui, pourquoi, quand, comment, I've given you some question words right here. So you are going to, after we've done the shared writing, look back at that and think, what other questions could I ask that she hasn't already talked about to know a little bit more about Madame Hunter's weekend? Okay, so on you go. Oh, that was the sneak peek preview of the beginner level. Okay, le titre, c'est Pendant le week-end. Pom, pom, pom. Et plus large. Okay, let's get stuck into the good stuff. Madame, plus court. Madame Hunter a dit, pendant ce week-end, pendant ce long week-end de 3 jours, je vais célébrer. Qu'est-ce que je vais célébrer? Oui, je vais célébrer l'anniversaire de Joshua. Le 9 septembre, Joshua aura 2 ans. Alors, on commence avec Samedi. Samedi, je vais passer du temps sur Zoom avec ma famille en Angleterre et France, mais je fais une sommaire. Dimanche, qu'est-ce que je vais faire, classe? Je vais célébrer avec la famille en Indiana et nous allons manger un gâteau. Quel type de gâteau? À la vanille ou au chocolat? Au chocolat. Un gâteau au chocolat. Célébrer, il y a deux accents, accent aigu. Et gâteau, il y a un accent. Quel accent? Accent circonflexe, oui. C'est le A, E, A ou U. C'est le premier A. Oui, super. Un gâteau au chocolat. Alors, lundi, c'est Labor Day. Oui, mais comment on dit Labor Day en français? Ou comment on dit like holiday en français? C'est un jour férié. Alors, nous allons aller au zoo. Zoo de Fort Wayne. Nous allons aller au zoo avec qui? Avec les amis de Joshua. Les amis de Joshua. OK, c'est beaucoup. Je vais présenter. Super. OK, so pause again. So you should have been kind of typing as you go or writing it down as you go. I want you to pause for another minute and then keep going and write as much of this good stuff as you can and then come back to the video. Okay, so now you're back. We're going to move on to the shared reading. That's where we read what we wrote, and I'm going to read it to you, French, then English. And during that time, you can have the Google form up on your screen, and you are completing this box, J'ai remarqué. As I'm reading, you're completing the J'ai remarqué. Now, it could be on pronunciation. So as I'm reading the French, you could be like, oh, I noticed that. J'ai remarqué is I noticed that, whatever. I noticed that this certain way that this word was pronounced was like this. I noticed that every time this ending of the word was pronounced, it was silent or whatever. Or when I read in English, you could be writing, I noticed that the way that the sentence is constructed, the order of the words, the way that the adjectives are placed, or the verbs are conjugated, or a certain, there's S's on the end of certain words, or E's on the end of whatever, or yeah, so spelling or grammar. And you're just engaging with the language in that way. And then I'll do a quick grammar in context with you, and then you're going to finish with your closing, and so we're nearly done. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this text. And la première fois, first time, je vais parler en français. Alors, so you should be reading this along with me and really engaging, learning the words, sink in with the spelling and the sound. Titre. Pendant le week-end. Madame Hunter a dit, pendant ce long week-end de 3 jours, je vais célébrer l'anniversaire de Joshua. Le 9 septembre, Joshua aura 2 ans. Samedi, je vais passer du temps sur Zoom avec ma famille en Angleterre. Dimanche, je vais célébrer avec la famille en Indiana et nous allons manger un gâteau au chocolat. Lundi, c'est un jour férié. Alors, Nous allons aller au zoo avec les amis de Joshua. Super, ok. Je vais effacer et continuer en anglais. Title, during the weekend. Mrs. Hunter said, during this long weekend of 3 days, I'm going to celebrate the birthday of Joshua. The 9th September, Joshua will have 2 years. Saturday, I am going to spend some time on Zoom with my family in England. Sunday, I am going to celebrate with the family in Indiana, and we are going to eat a cake to the chocolate. Monday, it is a day, very like free, liberated holiday. Yeah. So we are going to go to the zoo with the friends of Joshua. Okay, so pause video, complete that bit of shared reading, and then come back to this point of the video. Okay, so now you're back with me. I'm just going to pull up a couple of little grammar points that maybe you noticed yourself in the shared reading, or maybe you didn't, and that's okay. But a couple of things I want to pull out so we're learning and engaging more with the language. First thing, you might have been like, what is this? Or ha. Now, if you remember, when we talk about age in French, in English we say, I am 2. But in French, they say, I have 2 years. So firstly, we use the verb, let's clear it. Firstly, we use the verb have when we talk about age. So that's something to remember. We don't say I am this age, we say I have this age. And then secondly, you might have noticed, well, I've never seen this conjugation before. I don't think any of you have really, maybe in reading, but you've never used it or have never taught on it. This is a future tense, because the 9th of September is in the future. So this actually is will have. So Joshua will have 2 years. He will be 2 years old. Cool, so that's one little point. Another point is where you see things like l'anniversaire de Joshua, les amis de Joshua. This is really important because you've seen it before, you understand when you read it, but when you come to write it, there are many, many mistakes. So when you come to say it, there are many, many mistakes. So one thing to remember, in French, there is no apostrophe S. We don't say Joshua's ami. We don't say Joshua's anniversaire. That doesn't exist. We have to have this de. And then we have to switch it around. And yes, it makes it longer, but that's absolutely the only way to do it. So l'anniversaire de Joshua, les amis de Joshua. Okay, so de is super important if you want to say like anything that's belonging to. All right, I think there's a bunch of other things in there, but I'm gonna just stop there. I want to also reiterate maybe just this, that a lot of the text is je vais, but when you come to do your writing, if you want to also talk about we as me and my friends, me and my boyfriend or girlfriend, me and my family, did I always say family? Family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, anything. Anything that's a we, me, and this person automatically becomes we. So you're looking for nous, and then you're going to use allons. Okay, so you can always come back to this text as you're writing your own to go a little bit further. Instead of just talking about I, you can use nous if you want to. Okay. All right, merci beaucoup. So you are almost finished. For you, at a more advanced level, you'll see there are 2 questions that look like this, le weekend, which are multiple choice. So, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire le weekend? Et qu'est-ce que tu ne vas pas faire le weekend? Plus, there's also, for the advanced level, space for you to write in French. Write your own sentences in French, so use the text to support it. There's also a writing support paper, that PDF that I've put on the PowerSchool page. So check out the PDF on PowerSchool page, which has a range of more activities that you can choose from and elaborate on. Complete that and then submit and you're all done. So merci beaucoup, au revoir, à la prochaine.